Okay, one for the weekend. Take two.
Back again.
Back again.
How you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Yourself?
I was pleased about
Cold?
What, are you mugging me off?
No, I'm not mugging you off. I'm just saying you're wearing a coat indoors.
Well, I had a lot of wasabi at lunch.
Right.
That's really affected my innards.
I'm trying to kind
my
of
chest.
expand your palate to sushi a bit. So we went for a walk in Flav. We got him some wasabi, sushi.
Yeah.
Southern London thing to do. Northerners won't be happy about this, but we're doing it anyway. And yeah, you went well overboard with the wasabi.
I love wasabi. I do. I love horseradish and I love wasabi.
Much.
When you said there's too much in there, I was like, nah, it can't be. But I was like panicking a little bit.
Tiny James.
You mix it up with a soy.
Again.
You mix it up with a soy sauce, and then it knocked me for 6, to be honest.
So you're walking into this podcast not feeling your best?
No, I'm never feeling my best. It's just the life.
When was the last time you felt your best?
When you burn the candle at both ends, you never feel your best. That's the price you pay.
Yeah.
When's the last time I felt my best? There was a time about 6 years ago where I was eating really healthily. I wasn't drinking. I was eating lots of broccoli and that kind of stuff. And honestly, I felt like I was flying at one point. I felt so alert. I felt really like high on energy. I felt great. But it was just boring. It was like the boring way to live your life, being healthy.
Yeah, when people talk about a healthy life balance, that's part of it. How boring do you really want to be?
Exactly. So not boring at all. So I left it. How are you?
I'm good, mate. Yeah.
We don't see each other every day.
Yeah, exactly. I've literally just been chatting to you all day. Yeah, I'm all right as well. I'm a bit nervous about this weekend, and we can talk about that as time goes on. But yeah,
QPR could go down.
Not this weekend, but we could still go down. So yeah, we can look forward to talking about that. So this is one for the weekend, which has been made possible by our mates, boys and girls at Fan League, which is a new social football experience where you can take on your mates at predicting the results of English footy matches and make some money off them as well. Fan League's launching in August, so if you want to find out a bit more about those guys, then there's more information in a link in the description. So as part of One for the Weekend, where we're just basically going to be talking about the big football stories that are happening right now, we're going to have a bit of fun as well. We're going to be talking about Klitschko versus Joshua as well, so it's not all...
Well, why not?
Yeah, why not? That is One for the Weekend as well.
I'm as interested...
Gearing you up.
I love my boxing. And obviously I'm looking forward to the North London derby on Sunday, but I'm massively looking forward to Klitschko and Joshua. I can't, for those that don't watch boxing, I can't tell you how rare it is to find a 50-50 heavyweight fight.
Yeah.
And this is 50-50.
And if you want boxing knowledge, I mean, you would have guessed I'm big on my boxing.
Because
you
like it when they
I'll have a slug.
you can throw a bit of leather, can't you?
I can throw a bit of leather with the best of them, Flav, as you've seen on nights out and things like that. So some top pugilism knowledge coming your way, so stick around.
What was that stuff? The little skit bit you always do with Johnny Vaughan.
Well, that's I'll save that as well. Can I save that as well
for
later on?
Go on.
Yeah, I have views on boxing and why men love boxing.
Yeah.
So we can talk about that in a bit as well. So yeah, just to say that last week and for the next few weeks till the end of the season, we're going to be predicting the results of 13 matches. Me and you are taking each other on. Ian McIntosh, who's going to be on the podcast hopefully next week. Lovely man. You're desperate to be mates with him.
Came up with the term thunder bastard for a goal to be that's scored at late range with pace.
Really? It's got a thunder bastard.
So Matic's goal against Tottenham in the semi-final of the FA Cup, that was a thunder bastard.
Yeah. Oh, we can touch on your experience of the semi-final briefly as well. And also, you guys, or one of you guys in particular, has been chosen from last week's predictions. You guys got your predictions in. We've chosen one of the guys, and he will be representing you.
Yeah.
Should we reveal that now?
Yeah, why?
Let's reveal that. So, Garrett. Garrett, and I'm not sure if that is your real name, but it doesn't matter because you're on YouTube and you're safe there because people don't know your face and they don't even know what your voice sounds like.
That's why you can be horrible.
You can be horrible and you can troll us, you can do what you want, but often he doesn't. He's part of...
he's a good guy.
He's a good guy. And he put his predictions in so-so, not as good as he would have liked, which helps with the general level because we got 4 each out of 13.
Yeah.
That's crap, isn't it?
Yeah, that is crap. And also, there were people that did better than Garrett.
Yeah.
But we didn't
want... We wanted Garrett.
We wanted Garrett because he's been lovely and he always contributes to the comments in a healthy way.
Yeah.
But he also wasn't very good at it like we weren't very good at it. So Ian McIntosh, he got 7.
Yeah.
7. So not bad.
Garrett with the wooden spoon, I think it was. I think he got 2 if I'm
No,
right.
I think it's 4.
Was it 4? Okay, we'll figure it out. It'll be in the league table, which is going to be on the Fan League Twitter and their Facebook as well. So you can also see our full predictions, but we're going to go through a lot of them with you in the next hour or whatever it's going to be. But in the comments, if you're watching this on YouTube, so you can watch this on YouTube, Long Ball Street YouTube channel. Subscribe to their channel as well. Flav does a podcast with Matt, who's the owner of Ball Street, each week, which is brilliant as well. So there's 2 great podcasts for you guys to enjoy.
We had Robbie from Arsenal Fan TV. We were talking about all kinds of things this week.
Yeah,
He was
he's
talking
setting the record straight, was Robbie.
He was like, and there's been a lot of commotion about Arsenal Fan TV. He was attacked is too strong a word, but a group of men accosted him as he was trying to do his interviews out after a game that they lost at the Emirates. And he talks about that and the conversations he's had with their men afterwards.
Yeah. That's so Robbie, isn't it?
Yeah, and
he just put it all right. Probably just typed in some numbers and it was that guy.
Yeah, he just got there.
Like, this has got to stop. Just all mad.
I don't know where you are or what you're doing.
I mean, who's attacking Robbie? Are you for real?
I know, but
you've seen his hands.
Football is an emotive sport, and people behave in a way and say things when they're drunk that they shouldn't do on Twitter. So it's a fascinating listen, and Robbie does really open up. And whether you like Arsenal Fan TV or not, it's well worth a watch.
And also reveals his favourite rapper at the end of it, so it's another reason to go and listen to that one. So yeah, we're going to be doing this each week, so it's a great reason to subscribe. And obviously we're on iTunes, I guess, as well, right?
Yeah, iTunes. What are we talking about first?
Well, so just to say, with the predictions, we're going to be putting our predictions in the description. You guys do that as well. Let us know how you get on, and give some inspiration and some expertise to Garrett, because Garrett he's your guy. He's your horse in this race.
Yeah.
And he needs your help. He really does after last week.
God bless you, Garrett.
God bless you, Garrett. So let's kick off, I think. Well, let's reminisce and reflect for a second on last week, because you were talking about things that you do maybe when you're drunk after a game, and you're not always drunk at a game. Often.
I don't think I've ever been to a football match where I haven't been at least inebriated in some way.
In some way, yeah. Well, yeah, that's something people watch it in different ways.
I couldn't go to a game sober. Could you? Do you drink? Do you go to the game sober?
Yeah, quite a lot.
Do you not feel? Is it like doubly nervous? Do you feel confident going in?
I want to know why we're losing, or I really like the game. See, this is a good thing about us, but we're very different. We've got similar.
I'll take or leave
values as well. Yeah, you're not really into it.
Don't really. If anything, it gets really in the way of a good drink.
Yeah. I do. I mean, I like to have a few drinks before it. But if I don't, it's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world. I'm not like fucking not wanting to go in. It's just not as fun. You're much more inhibited.
That is true.
You don't want to get up and sing, whereas you've had a few, you don't care.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's that aspect. I get though completely missing things in the football because you've had too much to drink. That happens to me.
So in terms of the ability to take in information of a football game, what percentage, if 100% is total information intake?
Yeah.
What sort of level were you at come kick-off? At 5, was it? 5:15?
The Chelsea game? I wasn't in.
What percentage are we looking at?
We're looking at, I'd say 30.
Really?
Yeah, maybe 25, 30.
Wow.
I'd drunk a lot by that point. But no, it was silly having a kick-off at 5:30.
Madness.
Who does that?
Oh, is it madness or is it... Well, look, I mean, there was something in the news today about a Spurs fan who got beat up by a fellow Spurs fan who thought he was a Chelsea fan.
So coming out of the ground, there was a lot of Spurs fans not very happy. Chelsea fans, obviously, they would, to them, winning a semi-final of the FA Cup is almost nothing, so they kind of weren't that interested in staying behind and celebrating with their team, which I would have been. But so there was lots of Spurs and Chelsea coming out together, a lot of angry Spurs fans and Chelsea fans not really wanting to get involved, because who wants to really get beat up or get into a fisticuffs at football? Most people are not interested in that, so you can understand why.
Who's using the phrase fisticuffs?
Exactly. So it's a great word though. So there was that, and the story goes that this group of Spurs fans thought that this guy was a Chelsea fan, which even if he was, you don't beat the shit out of someone. You don't do that. So I don't know what happened, but poor
lad's got 2 massive black eyes.
Broken skull, broken eye sockets. It's a terrible thing. So it was tough. It was tough, but a 5:30 kickoff. I couldn't not drink.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not my fault.
Yeah, well, no, I was pretty. Yeah, I had a solid few before Brentford.
Solid few.
Yeah, last week as well.
So we both got pumped by our rivals last week.
We had a horrible weekend.
Yeah.
And so QPR fan don't like Chelsea.
No.
And they beat you.
Yeah.
And then for you, Man City, they were going to win that, guaranteed.
Should.
And Arsenal turn up and do what they do.
What I've avoided though is having to sit through Arsenal Spurs cup final, which on one level could have been the best day of my life. On another level, the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Picking yourselves up from that defeat, it would have felt, and I'm going to use a word that you're not going to like, Spursy.
Yeah.
If you had not have beaten Palace in the week, and you did it.
Yeah.
You ground it out.
We did.
And that's got to be a good omen for next season, because we were talking about this before. You've got to be so frustrated at the amount of points you've accumulated over the last couple of years, and you've got nothing for it.
Yeah, we're Spurs are top of, if you combine both leagues of last year and this year, Spurs are the best team in the league. Chelsea doesn't work like that because Chelsea had a weird season when they finished 10th last year, and Leicester had a weird season last year where they won it. And, kind of services resumed to somewhat, and so that stat isn't probably that helpful. Although we have on average been between third and second for 2 years.
Yeah.
And we're still
still fighting for it.
4 points behind Chelsea.
So this is the first big talking point. So we're going to be talking about all sorts, as I said, and a bit of boxing chat as well. We're going to be actually revealing some soldiers lost in battle.
Oh yeah. So what was that last week?
So last week it was a great weekend for me because I thought it was going to be, because I had a full free pass of watching football from start to finish, with no guilt whatsoever. But there are people out there soldiers lost in battle, who have to do things of that
rubbish things.
Less
good than watching
things
football.
that are the worst.
Yeah.
In comparison to watching kids' birthdays, things like that.
Yeah.
And so we asked people to
going to see your nan.
Yeah, exactly, the worst reasons for missing out on the football.
Yeah.
And we've got some in, and it's going to be difficult to read them out, but we're going to give it a go. So that's still to come. Talk about Joey Barton. We're going to talk about Sam Allardyce's comments this week. We're going to talk about Michael Carrick. Someone thinks he's one of the greats, so we're going to talk about that. And we're going to dip into the Championship as well and have a quick chat about Fulham are doing very, very well. But the first talking point is, does the title race end this week? Everton v Chelsea, and then after that, Chelsea have got pretty easy games. I think they've got Watford, West Brom, Sunderland. I might be wrong there. I think they've got Middlesbrough as well. Something like that. Pretty easy games. And you guys have got a very, very difficult fixture in Arsenal. And you've still got Man United to come as well. Do you feel like this is going to be the end of it this week?
No, I mean, it's not the end of it. I mean, it is if we lose and they win. I mean, but...
Because that's what I've gone for in my predictions.
Have you?
Yeah, this feels Chelsea fans, I don't know if it'd be interesting to know what you guys think. Does this feel like Bolton away when I think it was 2005 when they went up there, and Bolton weren't the worst side. They went up there, ground out a good 2-0 win, and that was the one that they look back on, and once they'd won it, going, that was the game where we knew. That's what Everton feels like for me this
Chelsea.
Weekend. For Chelsea this weekend.
I think they probably thought that the weekend though, when they beat Southampton 4-2, and the night before Spurs played Palace. Look, it's 4 points is not a lot. I'm not holding on to it. I'm not hopeful. I don't think we will win this league, but it's not over. Certainly not.
It's not over.
Everton have won 8 on the bounce at home. Chelsea haven't won there in the last 2 times they've gone there. Although last season they weren't great. Spurs can beat Arsenal at home. We'd probably be favourites. I know Arsenal scored in 88% of their away matches this year, but Spurs haven't played Spurs yet, and we don't concede at home.
And then they played Spurs.
Yeah, exactly. And then they played Spurs. And we've got a habit of upsetting people. Man City came to Tottenham, 13 wins on the bounce, and we beat them. Everton were unbeaten in about 4 months or something ridiculous, and we beat them. Burnley it was Burnley actually unbeaten for 4 months or some craziness. So this season we've got a propensity to get the right results at the right time, but it will be really difficult. But it's not over. If we beat them, if they lose to Everton, the gap is down to 1 point. 1 point, doesn't matter who you're playing.
Yeah.
The
difficulty I've got with all of this, and something that I haven't had to do for years when I've been doing the accumulator, is how do I decide how I feel about something? Do I go with my gut? Or do I go with my well-wishing for a mate, or do I go with try and start to go with my head? Because you know what I'm like. I'm very competitive and I want to do well in this.
Yeah.
And I haven't started very well for that.
So you've gone Arsenal to win.
I've gone Arsenal to win.
You're out of order, mate.
But isn't that?
That's
me trying to be
spiteful.
realistic. No,
Spiteful.
mate, no.
You are.
No.
You are.
We'll get into spiteful later on.
I'll tease you about
when we get to the
Brentford beating
championship. Well, we'll get into that later on as well.
All right.
I'm honestly not. I just think because I do want you guys to win.
Yeah.
For your happiness.
Yeah. Thanks.
It won't happen.
I know. We don't.
And I'm maybe a little bit bitten from last week as well.
People like us. I mean, bad things generally happen to good guys. We won't get what we want. It's fine. I've gone for a Spurs win, and I think I might have gone for a banker, but I can't remember what I did. Actually.
I've got your bankers here.
What did I go for?
You've gone so one of your bankers is.
Is it Tottenham?
You didn't go for
did I hedge?
Banker. That was you've got that as one of your upsets.
What?
Arsenal.
No.
I got that wrong.
Yeah, you got it wrong.
All right.
I would put on this because I was thinking about this because I want to win as well. I don't want to be last.
Yeah.
But I would never, no matter how hard the task is, I would always back Spurs. I could never bet against Spurs like a certain professional football did.
This week, yeah.
And
how does it? What's more important? Winning it to stay in the title race, or just not losing the last North London derby at?
Yeah, that's the most important thing.
That's the most important.
That's the only thing. The only thing going into that isn't thinking about Chelsea. It's not thinking about the league. It's thinking about the 90 minutes against those scumbags. Sorry, the other team.
Yeah, sorry. That's okay.
It's about.
Don't be an apologist.
Well, I've had 20 years of it. More than 20 years of them digging me out. Looking down their noses at Spurs, prodding at us. St Totteringham's Day. They made this significant. They made the day that when we finish above them relevant. And now the chickens have come home to roost, James. The chickens have come home to roost, and I'm the fucking rooster.
Lovely. Chelsea do look good though. Watched them in the week. They're infuriating to watch.
Yeah.
If you want them to, for the excitement of a neutral, you want them to lose to make it a bit more exciting. Because they don't really have that. They don't have all the possession. But they look like such a threat when they counter attack. It's crazy.
They've got probably one of the most formed players in Hazard in their team. Diego Costa is, as we know, you don't even need to talk about. Everyone knows who he is and what he's like and how effective he is in the game. He's just superb. So.
I think the management of him throughout the whole season has been brilliant.
Well, he wanted out at one point.
But Conte's kind of he could have sulked after those moments. He's volatile. It seems like he has a volatile sort of side to him in terms of his personality. But Conte kind of hung his hat on him and said, we need you to be our guy. And that responsibility he enjoyed, I think, and stepped up to it. And then he had, 7 games without scoring, something like that, 5 or 7 games without scoring. Drops him for a cup semi-final, sorry.
Rested.
Do you think it was rested? Do you?
Yeah, they had a big game on Tuesday. You're playing a day before
That's sad, isn't it? It's a bigger game.
He probably thought he could beat. He thought he had the personnel to beat Spurs. Batshuayi, he's a £35 million striker. He came in and led the line well. Holding the ball up and getting other players into the team, into the play is what any good striker who isn't one of those getting behind strikers should be able to do. And Batshuayi held the ball up well.
I still think that Conte's gone there. You're not really doing it at the moment, so I think it was more let's give someone else a go, and I think that little kick up the backside made a difference.
Well, he certainly had a good game against Southampton, didn't he?
Let's move forward. Let's move. So Crystal Palace Burnley is one of our ones this week. This looks like a banker. I think I put it down as a banker for Crystal Palace. Their home form is so-so, but Burnley away are on absolutely dire.
Yeah,
it's so bad.
I've gone for a banker as well on Palace. They have
missing Joe Barton.
Yeah, Joe Barton's weird. It's weird. I can't work out, but Joe Barton's a really complex, strange, interesting character because he came to the fore as a young footballer with a terrible temperament. he would get sent off regularly for Man City. There was huge discipline problems. He stubbed a cigar out on the eye of a reserve team player called Jamie Tandy, I think his name was. And the story of that goes that they were drinking all day. They'd been out, the team drinking session, and this guy Tandy kept taking the piss out of him, saying he hates Scousers and whatnot. And they got into like this sort of weird standoff where they were they wanted to go at each other, but it wasn't discussed. There was no fisticuffs going to happen, but they were really.
Was it like the hold me back?
Not even that.
Seriously, hold me back.
There was tension. Do you know what I mean? And
Right.
Jamie Tandy, I think that's his name. Once they'd all got changed into their night clothes, he set fire to Joe Barton's suit. It was on fire. He had to take it off and stamp it out. And he responded by getting his cigar and tried to stub it out on the back of his neck when, I don't know, something else. This is how it happened. Jamie Tandy kind of turned around and it went in his eye. That's what Joe Barton's kind of thing.
I mean,
but
yeah,
so there was that, and there's the stuff about when he went to Rangers and kind of always assuming that he's beyond everyone's ability, and he's now come to a stage where he's and the headbutting, the fighting on the pitch.
Well, yeah. So obviously he was at QPR for a long time. Had an amazing turnaround at QPR, really, because he came in for a lot of money, and he was that guy from Newcastle who was a bit spiky, and I think he'd literally just had that altercation with there was an Arsenal player, and he went down holding his face, and it was just like embarrassing. Anyway, he came to us, and we stayed up that year, but it was not down to him in any way, shape or form. He came in to be this leader who's going to get us to mid-table and we'll be fine because we've now got a bit of money. And he was awful. He was awful. So bad. Mm-hmm. But he was kind of defiant in his confidence in himself.
Which he turned around?
So the way that he turned around was, so just to finish that bit off, is that there was a game against Liverpool. We were 3-0 down with about 15 minutes to go. We won the game 4-3. It was unbelievable. Night game. Unreal. But he got taken off at half time because he was in, and he said it since, he was in complete quicksand. Like he couldn't, and again, he was so cocksure about his abilities that he was, the way that he processed having a nightmare game was like, give it to me again, I'll play this glory ball or whatever, and he just kept sinking and having a nightmare.
He referred to that game as he was in quicksand.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating.
And the fans turned on him and all of that. And anyway, the culmination of the lowest point for him was the Man City game, the Aguero goal, the year they won the league. People probably will remember it once I say it, but people often forget it. So I was at that game, and we were it was 0-0, and Barton, no, 1-0 down, sorry, and Barton got into an altercation with, I think it was Tevez or something. Tevez left one on him, and he just lost it. Yeah. He just snapped. And this is another, when you say like he's a fascinating character, what is interesting is, and what I've seen in him, and I've seen him get sent off a few times, each year there'd be one moment where he would snap. I think I've seen him sent off about 3 or 4 times whilst he was at QPR. And the turnaround was that he went to Marseille for a year, said he wasn't going to come back and play ever again, then did come back, sort of swallowed his pride and started again, and his stamina and his ability was there, and it was fantastic. It was a big reason why we got back up into the Premier League. But what you've got with Joey Barton is, one, he is arrogant. He is very, very arrogant, but he wants to be better than everyone else. And so he does try to educate himself to a point, but at the root of it, he has a problem with his own rage. The sendings off that happened in every single year that we would see him, it would always be the same little thing, and it wasn't something he could control anymore, because every game that he was playing, someone was trying to wind him up, or there were those battles, or there were those tackles. But there was sometimes where he would someone would just click in him and rage would hit.
Yeah, it's red mist, isn't it?
Red mist completely, and it would be. I think he flicked out at Bradley Johnson once. He did something against Leicester the year after. He flicked Tom Huddleston in the bollocks the year after that. And so he's always had a problem with his anger, and he's also, I think he's spoken about problems with kind of depression and all that. So you're right, he's so complicated. And that's why something that seems so stupid in terms of betting against your team, it just adds another facet to what is a really fascinating, complicated guy.
That's a strange one. I mean, look, I think you look at the kind of numbers he was betting on. He weren't doing huge amounts. You know, he wasn't laying $5,000 down on the line. He was making very small bets, which that in itself is a bit weird.
Does that feel to you like it's just kind of he's mischievous?
I don't know if it's that. I think because you know, you talked about him betting against his own team and he'd be dropped from a game and out of anger and kind of petulance he would bet against his own side as a kind of victory in his own head. That's
what I mean. Isn't that the mischief of him, that he can't?
I don't know if that's mischievous because it's a strange way to reconcile your anger.
Possibly, yeah. It's bizarre. And then the statement he's come out with and just
you were saying
so much information.
There's a lot. And the length of that statement was, again, another alarm bell for me. And the fact that, you know, he thinks that he's been made an example of. You know, these are kind of traits of, this is very pseudo-philosophy, all right, very much so, but it kind of traits of psychopathy. He kind of the world's against him. That, you know, that it's not his fault, and there's always a reason for it. But ultimately, he's a controversy. He said that most people wouldn't be most players wouldn't have got 18-month ban. They would have got 3 months. Now I don't know what the precedent is for that, and if there's any truth in that at all. But he said because he's a controversial character. You made the controversy. You made your decisions, and ultimately, you know, if you commit a crime and then you commit it again, and then you commit the same crime previously, the sentencing is going to stack up, and you are going to be treated differently. But it's your actions that have got you there. So it's no one else's fault but his.
I always find that really interesting, the balance between belief and humility. To kind of so another thing that he said is that I will be a top level manager. There's no doubt I'm going to be one of the best managers in England. I've heard him say it a couple of times. He's got great belief in himself, and I think in life that can get you really far. Yeah. But it can also trip you up, and I find that really, especially in sports people as well. People like boxers, and I'll get onto that maybe in a second. But this is probably good. Joshua and Klitschko both kind of have a lot of belief in themselves and confidence in themselves, but both quite humble, I think, as well. There's never been that Tyson Fury guy or a lot of boxers who just go, I'm going to knock you out, I'm going to do all this stuff. Yeah. I know that's a bit for show, but Joey Barton is one of the few footballers who has that same kind of, I don't know what the word is for it, arrogance or belief or what.
Self-belief, but it does bleed into arrogance. It's self-belief, but you can have class and dignity with it. And then the self-belief, you can have arrogance, but both of those things are powerful. You can be arrogant, and that can work to your advantage massively. You know I think there is an element of that in his game, and that part of the reason why he has had such a great career in comparison to most professional footballers. He's in the top 5% probably of in terms of earnings and the kind of career that he's had. The vast majority of professional footballers, have to get second jobs and stuff.
You talk about players going missing. Never were. Even in that Liverpool game where he had a nightmare, he didn't go missing. Yeah. I mean, we wish he had gone missing a bit quicker because he was having a nightmare. But he was always up for the fight. Yeah. But it's just the latest fascinating turn in his story, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think it'll affect Burnley enough for them. They have had a sort of gentle wobble, but I don't think they'll. Wow, you never know. They could go down with the way the Swansea and Hull are winning games, or they've when there's that much pressure on you to win games, you do win games. Yeah, so that could be interesting. Burnley probably they're 36 points. They need one more win to just put that to bed, and that would be a massive achievement for them to do that.
Did you hear Allardyce moaning about having to play a game 24 hours? So he's basically complaining that when Spurs played Palace at the week,
because Conte was moaning as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, they had to play a game before other teams. But it's like, there's two things here. There's one, it happens to everybody. That's one of the few things that do even out for everybody. Everyone has those periods where they've got loads of games, especially if you qualify for Europe. But Spurs have played 49 games this season compared to Palace's sort of I don't know. He's played about 10, 15 more than they have. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's about rotating your squad better to a certain extent. But the other thing is that the reason why these things get moved around is for TV. So you can't complain about having to play football on TV and having your fixtures moved, but then want to spend X amount of money on wages, because all of the money that you're able to spend now, it's not only a small percentage of it's from gate receipts now, most of it's from TV revenue. So, you know, you can't have your cake and eat it. It's just,
Yeah.
I hate it when you hear people whinging and moaning after a game. If you've got a legitimate cause to, like you've been cheated, someone handballed, like Henry handballing and the Irish, that goal, do you remember when Ireland got knocked out at the playoffs? I understand that, but just sitting there moaning, bar humbug kind of thing, it's like, mate, just nothing's going to change, right? Just because you're angry doesn't mean you're right. It's just
There's one he's loved to go on about for a long time. I think they don't ask for the TV money. They're very grateful to get it.
Yeah.
They don't actually ask for it. And if all the TV money went away, they'd just offer players less money, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I would play. Yeah, everyone would expect less, and the bottom would fall out of it.
But yeah, so yeah, if they went to you, look, Allardyce, we can make sure you can have an extra day more than everyone else, but we're going to take about 15 million off you. I think he knows which side bread's buttered. But Palace flying, good result for you guys to get the win against them. But he has got them going in the right direction. They were second in the form table, and that is I think I might add that as a banker as well. Yeah, you copy me, Ali.
I didn't even see your slip, so
embarrassing. Man United versus Swansea. There's a talking point here because the Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola, and we're doing this podcast before the derby on Thursday night, so we don't know what the score was on that one. But he has said that 35-year-old Michael Carrick is at the same level as Spanish World Cup winners Xavi Alonso and Sergio Busquets. Always Biscuits. I struggle to say that one. He is, and I've been slaughtered for this. Any Ball Street fans will testify. He is the Chris Marsden of this generation. Chris Marsden's that guy that everyone said was underrated. But if everyone's saying he's underrated, then he is rated. Heidegger Johnson's another example.
What do you mean? If everyone says he's underrated, is he rated just...
The go-to thing for Michael Carrick, to say about Michael Carrick, is that he's underrated.
It's just that...
Everyone says it, therefore he's not underrated.
He's rated by people because
everyone's underrating him.
I understand.
Is he a great, though? Because I'll just find out now.
If he was playing for Barcelona in Busquets' position, then he would easily be considered a great. But because he's from the northeast of England and he's always been kind of outshone in Man United in terms of personality, he's never been kind of outgoing. He's kind of been a simple, let his football do the talking. You know, Jamie Redknapp made a good quote, one of the few good things he's ever said. And he said this, he goes, if Eriksen had a funky haircut and tattoos all over his body, it'd be worth 20 million more. But because he's understated and gets on with his job, it's his perception. And I think Carrick does fly under the radar. But honestly, one of the few times where I've actually been absolutely gutted to see a player leave Tottenham, and 3 of those were all gone to Man United. Sheringham, Berbatov and Michael Carrick. He was and is a superb player, and the player of his age, 35, the way he plays, he could quite easily go on and do this for another couple of years. Yeah,
I think that's something I've been impressed with Mourinho this year, that he's with Mata, with him. I think there's one, when a new manager comes in, you could go, all right, it's the end of him and him. But he's been quite willing to sort of embrace both of them. Mata obviously sold, didn't think he was up to it, and didn't have the stamina to play the way that he wanted to play. And you could have labelled the same thing at Carrick, but Carrick's been fantastic for them this year.
He has.
Here's it right. And
he's a metronome.
You can play along as well if you're listening to this. If you don't know, he is a metronome. And it's the amount of interceptions that he has and they're not tackles. He's just in that fantastic position. He reads the game so well. How many England caps did Michael Carrick, who is now 35, he's played 308 games for Man United, he's won it all, 136 games for West Ham, Spurs. How many England caps did he get, and how many do you think he deserved? Does a player of that quality deserve?
This is a guess. I reckon...
What does he deserve? He
should be easily in his 60 caps plus. I think he's that good. But he has had to contend with Lampard and Gerrard being in a similar era to them.
Because the cap is coming on as well, isn't it? After 60 minutes. The cap's a cap.
Yeah.
They all count.
Is it 35?
It's 34. It's got 34 caps for England.
That is not enough.
That is not enough.
I nearly nailed that.
You really nearly nailed that.
Shit.
Right? No goals.
That is not enough for a player of his quality. But I think
he's so underrated.
He is underrated. But I think he benefits from the change in the formation, whereas there was more fluidity and Dinosaurism. There's more dinosaurism in current formations. In that it's just there's more places to fill. You know, you've got the double pivot.
You love that one.
I do. It makes complete sense because you just got a standard single defensive midfielder, and because of the new way of thinking about formations in England, beyond just two banks of four and a two up front, is enabled more kind of specialist midfielders to flourish.
Yeah, absolutely. Whereas you don't need to be that
box
to box guy. Yeah, that's doing it all.
But by the same token, I think like players like Vieira might not have had the career that they had if the 4-4-2 wasn't as prevalent.
Yeah,
because he was the best box to box on earth at that time.
Very true. Poor Michael. He is still alive, just because he's fine. Don't worry about him. He's earned a lot of money and won a lot of trophies.
Who are you talking about?
Michael Carrick. Don't feel bad for him. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I don't feel bad for him. He left Spurs. Don't care about him really. But you asked.
But that is mad, isn't it? Favourite. Yeah, no, I did.
Hang on. What's Pep Guardiola's agenda here?
Yeah, what are you up to?
What does he want? Does he see Carrick as the metronome of Man United and upsetting him or getting in his brain is key to Man United being unfolded?
I have no idea. Or maybe he's just he's a similar player. Isn't
Why
he,
mention
as well?
him?
That's the other thing.
But why mention him? It's a weird one. If you're going to mention someone, mention Pogba. Mention the fact that they're going to be damaged without Ibrahimovic. Going after Carrick is genius because upsetting, and I'll say it again, the metronome upsets the entire team. It's like taking Luka Modric out of the game. You're told, you're taking Dembele out of Spurs. It's gonna. He might not play on Sunday. Actually, against Arsenal.
Really?
Yeah, he went off injured last night. But you're taking those kind of players upsets everything, and almost all the good stuff creatively going forward goes through. It starts with Carrick and starts with Modric and starts with Dembele. So that's maybe what he's playing. He's being tricksy. He's being tricksy.
Clever.
As he is.
Right. What about soldiers lost in battle? Got time for that?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
It's Garrett.
Garrett, what?
He's one of the soldiers lost in battle, is he?
He is. Right, so let me just get ready. So, Flav, explain soldiers lost in battle once more.
Right, so these are people that have, most blokes and women, some women, love going to watch the football guilt-free. And sometimes when you're trying to hold down a healthy relationship, you can't always watch football guilt-free. And if you find one that lets you do it all the time, you marry her or him. You
hold her so tight. Yeah,
you marry him because obviously football to a lot of people is just a game, not a religion like it is for many of us. So we sent out a request to you guys to tell us what are the worst circumstances in which you've lost a game of football, or lost a day of football, and James here is gonna read some out to you.
We kick off with Garrett. I was a little worried based on your... Oh, that's wrong one. Damn. Hey, forget that. Jake Millard. Missing the football to go to a bloody rugby match. I'd 100% sack off the rugby if I wasn't doing my uni placement there. I don't even like rugby. Probably a poor choice of work placement.
Do that again. Do another one.
Okay. Andres Niku. Missed the North London derby when I was younger because my mum made me go to the theatre. Don't even like the theatre. And the play was fucking shit. We lost though, so she was probably saving me from heartache. Still, I've never forgiven her. Thanks, Mum.
I love this.
Dave Cunnington. I once had to miss the football to go to what my then girlfriend said was Toby's funeral, so had to miss the game. I got dressed up properly and everything. We made our way to her parents. I thought I would pick them up. Turned out that Toby was a hamster that was bought for her little sister a month previous. I'm sad to hear that, Dave.
Got one more?
The leather belts. Not me missing the football, but my mate has missed the football to move his boat.
Go on, last one.
Last one. I want to drink bleach. Is the name of the guy. That's not me. I had to miss the game because my granddad found it too stressful to watch.
One more.
This is the only last one I've got. Okay. Sakir Singh, Dylan. I have a fucking coding exam during the Spurs versus Chelsea. Now who will make that Chinese professor understand that the FA Cup is more important? Different song there. And that was this week's Soldiers in Battle.
Well done, guys. Stay strong.
Stay strong, guys.
You will get your days back one day.
Yeah. If you're going through the same struggle, we're here to help, to talk, to hear your pain.
Yeah, and just know that there's someone out there willing to listen to you and understands your pain, and you're not alone. Stay strong and stay with us.
You're right.
Yeah.
Let's move forward.
I mean, we're doing God's work.
Doing God's work, yeah.
Good work.
Championship. Playoff winners elect. Fulham. Just a quick mention of Fulham because they have unbelievable turnaround from last season. I mean, they failed miserably last season. Obviously, there was a lot more expected of them, but they only just about stayed up, and they've made their way into the playoffs. They won the last 4 matches, and they scored in one of the last 15. Sorry, and their goal difference in the playoffs looks so strong, and that is the reason why. And I said it a few weeks ago, didn't I, on the Social Club? I think if they can get into the playoffs, then it could be them to win it.
You think where they come from under Felix Magath?
Yeah.
You know they relegated out of the Premier League. Oddball coach in the most extreme. I think he used to rub cheese on people's injuries.
Yeah, it's quite a strange club in general, just in terms of the journey of them, because they were a third division club for a long time, and then Al Fayed came in, brought in the money, and took them all the way up, and then they were a Premiership side for a decent amount of time.
They got to the Europa League final.
I know.
Incredible stuff under Roy Hodgson, and it's just, you know what it does show. What it does show, and you can hold on to this, right? Is that you can have a terrible season in the Championship, but if you get your shit together, you get the right manager in there, things can change very, very quickly.
I agree.
And they're exciting to watch. They've got some great players, none more so than Ryan Sessegnon, 16-year-old. Hasn't even got a pro contract yet, but he's smashing it up. Went up to Newcastle, scored 2 at Newcastle, I think.
I think so. He definitely scored in the FA Cup third round against Cardiff. And hasn't signed that pro deal yet. I think I read that he's going to do it in May. But I've seen him play, and he is
special.
He's got that little, he does have that little spark about him. But as a side, they keep the ball really well.
Yeah.
Play great football. Really exciting attacking players. Not right up top in Chris Martin, but the guys around him, Tom Kearney, and I think Aluko is actually one of the best players in the Championship. A lot of people think they've never really seen him do that much in the Premier League. But he seems to play a different position for Fulham. He plays he's more of an attacking midfielder who goes around, just gets on the ball, which I kind of thought of him as a out-and-out striker at Hull. But he's not that at all. And the 2 times I've seen him, he's been really impressive.
And also they've lost their kind of starlet in Moussa Dembele, who went up to Celtic. And
they would have won the league if they'd had him this year.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I mean, and I can understand the step that he made, going up and playing Celtic and being involved in old firms and just learning your craft in a different league and a very physical league. It was a good move for him, but it must have been difficult for Fulham to kind of swallow that, because they must have known what they were building.
Yeah.
And they know through that, or has it come as a bit of a surprise?
Well, I mean, last year they didn't do very well at all, but they did have a lot of the players that they've got now. So I guess they just weren't getting the best out of those players. Maybe that was it. But
there's also an amazing youth set up there. It was overseen by Hugh Jennings, who was a big part of Southampton's academy and that set up, and I was involved in the development of Bale and Lallana and Walcott.
Chamberlain, I guess, as well. Then,
yeah, probably around that time as well. So there are good things happening at Fulham, and I don't like any other football club really. I mean, it goes against the grain of being a proper football fan, in my opinion, to want another team to win. But I've always kind of liked Fulham, mainly because they're completely inoffensive.
Yeah.
Supporters,
I mean, I don't like Fulham because they're a rival.
Yeah, but I can, it's one of my favourite games to go and watch Tottenham play.
Cracking walk to the ground, really good.
We've talked about this before. Stop talking about the walk to the ground.
Walk to the ground's good though.
Yeah,
on a lovely spring day, very fresh.
You can go for a walk at any time. Lovely walks all around London.
That is true.
Football's not about walking.
What I would do is challenge Fulham fans to make some noise sometimes on a home game.
Impossible.
Why?
Because noise and passion comes out of hardship, and it comes out of needing it and needing that release. No one in Fulham needs a release.
Do you know?
Their whole life's a release.
But there's like Netflix, their whole algorithm goes around it. Don't worry, I'm going somewhere with it.
Right.
Their whole algorithm goes around the fact that there's like a doppelganger of you who's got the same taste as you, and they'll use the things that they watch that are quite. So say you watch.
How do they know if you're what?
So say I watch 15 things, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and you watch 15 things as well. The 10 of the things we both watch the same.
Yeah.
Right, so we both got similar tastes, right?
Mm.
The other 5 things that you watch will come up on my feed for me to possibly try out, because from that algorithm it's suggesting that, well, you liked it, so I might like it because we have generally similar tastes, right?
Yeah.
So what I was going to say is, you're right with the hardship and stuff like that, but Fulham, Fulham's in London, and not all fans are from Fulham.
But they are.
So, yeah, I mean, Fulham fans are all tourists, but there is probably a Flav doppelganger who's a Fulham fan who must just be infuriated at every home game. Somebody just fucking sing.
Yeah, I get that. I completely get that, and I feel for that guy. I'm sure there might be one in there.
What do you do? What do you do if you just got? That's tough, isn't it?
You understand what your football club is.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do, or you get like-minded fans together, get a section of the stadium. They sell out every game. They're never not sold out.
Yeah, it's because they give a lot to the away.
Yeah, they do. They give loads to the away end.
But it's a good away there.
Back on that Netflix thing. Firstly, that algorithm thing that works, because once you get on Netflix, you end up watching it and sitting there all night. So that works. I kind of like that. I like that they've managed to suss people out. It's also a little bit creepy. Yeah. The other thing is that I use Sam People's Netflix account.
Do you?
Yeah, he gave me email, the login once, and I haven't bought.
Why are you so mean to him then?
I'm not mean. I love him. It's just funny, isn't it?
Bickering. This is something that in the Bull Street office, and we're going to be trying to do more Facebook Lives actually. So if you check out our Facebook page and give it a like,
and our Snapchat as well. You get behind the scenes.
Yeah.
At the office.
And the thing that is most prevalent in the office is bickering. It's kind of, we're not falling out, but lads are like hyenas.
Yeah.
As soon as someone says something, everyone sort of stops and turns around and goes, "Why did you say that?"
Yeah. But then
who makes you the guy who lads say that?
And then inside that sort
There's
of
a
social,
flow.
and then suddenly once it gets switched on, it's quite horrible. It can be horrible at the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, but talk about Sam's Netflix account. I was looking the other day, and there was this program about escorts, high-end escorts.
Okay.
I was on my own. I thought,
I can't click on those things.
I might,
because I'm on Stacey's.
See if I can tug one out. And shit, can I say that? No, I'm sure it's fine. Sorry, family. I couldn't click on it because I knew also Sam's missus also uses the account. So I think he's like, "What have you been watching?"
Can't you just throw him under the bus?
I couldn't do that to him. Not only
you're both safe, aren't you?
Why?
Well, you're not safe, but there's no comeuppance. Because to say you watch the escort thing, she'll go, "Sam, why are you watching?
Yeah.
Why are you watching that? Am I not enough for you?"
Yes.
And he'll go, "That's not me, that's Flav." And she'll go, "Oh, right."
Yeah.
And
that happens a lot.
But
actually.
you two will
I get
never
blamed for a lot.
Yeah, you do.
We do meet sometimes. I meet her sometimes. Did you watch that escort program? I look at Sam. Yes, I did.
Yeah, that's what you should do. You go, yeah, you go. Yeah, that was me.
Yeah,
that was me. Tapping him on the back.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So that's my.
Was it good?
No, it's quite depressing.
Oh.
Yeah, I had the exact opposite route.
That's horrible. Okay, right. Let's move forward.
Let's talk about
go on.
Big J.
Let's talk about Big J, because QPR, we're going to get a draw, and that's fine. We spoke about QPR quite a lot.
Oh, well, just the QPR, just for the thing, I've gone for banker, Nottingham Forest.
Yeah. Why?
Because you've lost 6 on the bounce, and I don't want to lose. You've lost 6 on the bounce. Ian Holloway don't know what he's doing. The players are turning on him. The fans have turned on him.
Players have turned on him. A couple of fans have turned on him. Not all fans though.
Not
all
you.
Fans, not me.
And your old man. I bet he's
We'll beat him 2-0. We'll beat him 2-0 Saturday. All's fine.
Warburton's turned it around there a little bit, and he.
Yeah.
Yeah, banker.
Slightly nervous.
Nice.
I'll take a draw. But yeah, it is getting tasty down the bottom. But yeah, maybe next week with the last game of the season, we'll dive into that a little bit more. But yeah, there's also Blackburn, Aston Villa, which is in our predictions. Come on, Aston Villa. Come on. Just even a draw is fine. Yeah. Klitschko Joshua. That is one for the weekend.
Yeah.
You're a boxing fan. This is something. Yeah. So this is something we teased at the start of it. This is one thing that this is why men love boxing, right?
Yeah.
Because boxing, you can talk about it, and it's 95% based on truisms.
Yeah.
And phrases.
Definitely amongst the casual boxing fans. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, what kind of? Can you give me a sentence that I can use? Like, I watch fights.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know fighting.
Yeah.
Really. Can you give me a sentence that I can use that isn't a truism that can be used for this fight? And actual information instead of like...
Yeah, but no. Well, so you'll hear stuff about footwork, great footwork.
Yeah.
Great footwork, right? But
reach.
Well, reach is...
It's how you use it, I guess. Is it? I don't know. See, this is what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, reach is just how long your arm is. When your arm's extended to throw a punch, how long is?
Yeah, I know what it is.
Right, but that's just facts. That's just like measurement. Okay. Yeah, but footwork is about
someone go, he's got the reach on him. I said that.
Yeah, you could say that. You could say that. So in this instance, I think Klitschko has a reach on.
Incorrect. Joshua has the reach by an inch.
Wow, I didn't know that because Joshua's arms are like trunks, so they don't look that long, but. What I'm saying is, like, so footwork, for example, that's a boxer's ability to get inside the pocket so that he can land shots and get out in time. And some boxers' footwork is incredible, and some's not so. So Mayweather probably had the best footwork of any boxer for a long, among the best. Pernell Wicker. Anyway, I'm boring you. But what's going to happen in this fight ultimately?
Yeah, it gives you predictions.
I've got 2 predictions. Right. Joshua early. In the first 4 rounds.
Okay. Has Klitschko ever gone down early though?
He's been obliterated a couple of times. Yeah.
Has he?
Yeah. He's been knocked out 3 times. One to a guy called Corey Sanders.
I think
that was in London actually. South African, very average heavyweight.
He called himself the Colonel.
He should have done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if Joshua can get to him and land on his chin in the first 4 or 5 rounds, I think Joshua will knock him out. If it goes beyond that, Klitschko's fight all day. That said, we don't know what Klitschko is now. He got beat by...
It's a long time since he's fought. 2015.
18 months against Tyson Fury, who is an elite level heavyweight, elite level boxer.
How can you look at Tyson Fury and think he's elite at anything?
Well, yeah, this is the problem. You know, you look at that Tyson Fury and you don't think, well, what's he going to do? But he is an excellent heavyweight.
That's fascinating, isn't it? Because you think if you look at Joshua,
yes,
he's a beautiful man. He's
calm,
unbelievable. It's a joke, isn't it? It's like he's been blown up.
Yeah,
he's unbelievably chill.
So this again that.
So that makes him better, right? But it doesn't, does it?
Well, it gives them more explosive power generally. The heavily muscle bound fighters like Bruno, like Joshua, Tyson. Tyson was quite ripped at the beginning, but they generally have quite fast twitch muscles, so they can produce lots of power, but they exert a lot of energy. And Bruno used to gas, so comparing Bruno and Joshua is not a bad comparison. Because
which Tyson Fury's done this week, I think.
Has he?
Yeah.
So he's I think Bruno knocked out 21 of his first 21 opponents. Majority of them in the first 2 rounds. Joshua's done similar things, although struggled against Dillian White. He will tire because you can't carry that much of muscle around, and we haven't really seen him go to championship distance before. So Klitschko's the master at it. He goes 12 rounds for fun.
Yeah. Well, there's a stat for you. So Joshua's fought 44 rounds in his professional career. Klitschko 358.
Klitschko's knocked out more people than Joshua's fought rounds.
Correct. 78% knockout rate as well.
Yeah.
So which is quite good, isn't it?
But Joshua's got
I think
100%
Klitschko,
knockout.
for what it's worth, I think Klitschko's going to win on points.
It's not a bad shout.
Well, yeah.
It's not a bad shout.
He's a superb pugilist. But he can go toe to toe. He loves a scrap. You know, he can fight as well.
Yeah.
You know, he's got it all. He's a slugger. But, you know, you can keep him at bay as well.
He can do it. You're fine.
Yeah.
You know, you can't do the same thing in football. You can't bluff your way for a football conversation. As soon as you're talking to someone who doesn't know, you know.
But there's another thing you said at the start, which I talk about a lot. Is I used to love a podcast by Johnny Vaughan called The Warm Up, and this was the thing that he would say was that there's so many ways. So Steve Bunce, I think it is. He's the guy, isn't it?
Yeah.
He would never give any real information. He would just be like, I mean, he's a great pugilist. He just says different words for boxer or fighting.
Yeah.
That would be one. In the comments, let us know another little phrases that you can chuck in
for boxers.
Yeah.
He's a gentleman of Queensbury rules. I think that's unfair to Bunce as well. Very learned man in boxing, but I get he does talking truisms. If you had to, I wouldn't bet on this fight. This would be a fight I wouldn't bet on. But if you had to say one, you'd go Klitschko points.
Yeah, I desperately. Kieran's on the ones and twos, having a little panic there. Don't worry, mate.
One, I would say my gut says Klitschko will stop Joshua.
I desperately want Joshua to win it. Really like him.
Much better for boxing because Klitschko is the most boring boxer on earth.
Yeah,
brilliant, effective, but Joshua's so much more exciting, and he's British. Not that I've got, I'm pro-British on everything.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just boxing.
Right. Coming to the end, really quick thing up. Bore-off fixture of the week goes to West Brom versus Leicester.
Yes. Yeah, boring.
Proper boring.
Dull.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even bother going.
Yeah. The ball's going to be out of play all the time.
Have you ever woken up in the morning and you got QPR and you thought, I can't be fucked?
Yeah, definitely.
Have you?
When we're in Division 2, and this is awful, but I imagine this is what probably fans of good teams feel, is we would play like Chesterfield at home, and you know you're going to win.
Really?
You know you're going to win.
Did you run away with it?
You know you're going to win 2-0. No, I finished second actually, but you know you're going to win 2-0, and it's just like it's a little bit boring.
I found that at Tottenham somewhat as well, because you get periods of the season where certainly Spurs did. We were great. We were really good, and scoring a goal like the third goal against Stoke, it doesn't conjure the same level of explosiveness, of excitement that it did when we were rubbish and we scored 3 in the game and everyone went crazy.
Yeah.
What do you go to watch football for? It's those moments of explosion. That's what I do. That moment where you lose the reason why I'm going into this game against Arsenal on Sunday isn't because I can't wait to be in that atmosphere and the horrible feeling that Arsenal might do us over. It's because Harry Kane might score a screamer and I will lose my shit.
But that's why I get.
But the better you get, the less common those moments are.
Well, no, it's the intensity as well. It's like if you haven't eaten for a week, I'll give you a slice of pizza. You are going to love that pizza. Yeah. You are going to really enjoy that pizza.
Yeah, but the
I'm giving you pizza every hour on the hour.
Yeah, I'm going to say, where are you getting all this pizza from?
Yeah. I can't keep eating this pizza.
Where are you getting it from?
It's not the same. Good analogy, that.
You're ruining it.
Yeah.
Do you get when you order a like a Domino's or something and you get to the end of it, do you power through or do you leave bits?
It's got to be eaten. It's got to be finished. Yeah. And I think you're letting everyone down if you don't.
Yeah.
Right, we're coming to the end now. We're going to reveal our bankers, and then we'll put a full predictions in the bottom. In the first comment for you guys to get your predictions as well. Garrett, best of luck to you, and give Garrett some advice on some of the games as well. Give him a helping hand.
Maybe he doesn't like advice. Maybe he's like one of them people that don't like advice.
Garrett, if you don't want advice, then write something in the comments. Let them know.
Garrett, I want you to write in the comments. I don't want any advice. I'm fine. Who are your bankers for the weekend?
My bankers are Man City, Middlesbrough. Although Middlesbrough did get a win, didn't they? Chelsea, I think it's going to be the end of the title race this weekend, and Palace to get that win against Burnley because Burnley are all for away.
You got 4 bankers, have you?
Got 3 bankers.
So Borough, you bank. Borough, I got you.
City playing Borough.
I've got a banker. Palace to beat Burnley as a banker. I've got City to beat Borough as a banker, and I've got Nottingham Forest to beat QPR as a banker. Give us your upsets, James.
Upsets Sunderland. I think. Have I got Sunderland to win? Surely not.
You should know your own.
Sunderland.
You got them as a draw here.
Oh yeah, yes, that's how bad they are. Sunderland to get a draw. That will be an upset in itself.
James, what are you talking about? I'm reading your things. You've got an upset of West Brom, Leicester, West Brom beating Leicester.
This happens a lot with me, doesn't it? I get confused.
And
with
you've got an
Excel
upset
spreadsheets.
of Arsenal beating Tottenham. And
You're going to be upset.
You've got an upset of Blackburn beating Villa.
Yeah, because that's going to make me upset.
Yeah, I've also gone for Blackburn to beat Villa of upset. And I've got Swansea to beat Manchester United at Old Trafford.
It's one of those ones which they've drawn this year a lot, those kind of games. So yeah, that'll be an interesting one. And
that's one of my minds to gain.
Shattered, aren't they?
Yeah, to gain points on you lot. So, and I've got Sunderland to beat Bournemouth as my upset.
Really?
Yeah.
This is the last thing that we're going to do. Another reason to get involved in the comments or tweet us. We're going to do. This is called One for the Weekend, but we're going to do two for the weekend. 2 questions for the weekend that we're going to answer. So get your questions in, and we'll answer 2 of them next week. I'm going to do one from the comments last week and one from Twitter. First one is from Sam, ASAM, or sir.m. Hi lads, like the content, even though I haven't watched it yet. Oh, algorithm crew.
No,
Just had a question. What are your thoughts on players coming out of Australia, especially Moy, who's killing it with Huddersfield? I've seen Moy twice. He is awesome. He is a very, very good player. But he should have been
26 million. Did Man City pay 26 million?
No, I thought it was like 8 million.
Was it?
Yeah.
I swear.
I might be wrong.
Matt said that they paid a fortune for him. Anyway, I might
That
be
seems
wrong.
like a lot.
It does seem like a lot.
He is a great player. There's in general with basically he wants to know what do you think of what your thoughts of Australian players.
Yeah,
you
cheers.
do kind of want them to do well. Generally, like Harry Kewell, Mark Viduka, there's something very British about Australian people.
It's quite a niche subject.
It is niche.
I mean, I know Aaron Moy, I know Harry Kewell, and I know Viduka.
We have a player in Luongo who's Australian, plays centre field with Moy.
He used to play for Spurs.
Used to play for Spurs. There you go.
Yes,
Look, you're in the conversation.
I don't know anything about him.
He's a good
I've got to
player.
be honest. I don't have any opinion on Australian players. I'm really sorry.
That in itself is an opinion.
Yeah. Aaron Moy looks good though.
I generally think that they've got stronger mentalities than English players because they're Australian. That's my top line thoughts on Australian
Very
players.
top line.
Yeah.
Based on that.
Moy's a good player. Rogic I quite like. I like his journey because he came through that Nike Academy thing, and I saw that documentary. Stu, who's a Rangers fan, said that Rogic never plays against Rangers, which is a bit odd, so he doesn't seem too much. Kieran on the 1s and 2s. Thoughts on Rogic? You're a Celtic fan?
Very good.
Very good?
Very good.
Right. Yeah, there you go. You've heard it there. And generally, they're all right. There's not many unlikable Americans. Muscat and Lucas Neal. They're the only 2 probably.
Yeah, we're getting the cream of Australian players, aren't we? The average ones that we'll never hear of. So... sorry, mate, I don't have an opinion.
That's fine. And the other one from David Ambrose on Twitter is... hang on. There it is. Who from Ball Street would win a WWE-style Royal Rumble?
Jed.
I'm having.
Kieran, you reckon?
Kieran, you got him, dear.
All right.
So, of course, The Office... Are they talking the whole network?
Well, maybe just camera facing, because so people understand who we're talking about. That make complete sense. You got anyone? No, Nicky.
Chris has the heart of a lion.
He does. He'd be tenacious.
Yeah.
Chris of Redmen TV would be tenacious. Nicky has the size and kind of. He's definitely. I'm not saying that this is fact, but he definitely stabbed someone before. Definitely, you can see it in his eyes.
Actually, I shouldn't say that.
Don't say anything that's true.
Yeah, okay.
But there's that.
I think with Paul, you've got both height,
and
Paul
reach.
from Redman, and reach and experience of WWE. He loves it.
He
absolutely loves it.
He does.
As does Ped. I don't think Ped's got
quite big.
I don't think Ped's got it for me. I don't
But
think
he looks like
I think he's Solkoff maybe.
No, he looks like he's slayed dragons or giants
in his
like,
time.
yeah.
I don't know what that means.
He drives a cab and someone left a review
What about
called him thanks for the ride, fig or giant's brain or something like that. It's very funny.
Don't know what that means.
Just
What
so
about the
fucking
pocket
cool,
rocket?
aren't you?
What about pocket rocket?
You'd get dashed.
Do you think?
Yeah, you'd get picked up and thrown out like that. Pocket rocket.
Yeah, but I could like hide in the corner or something for a bit.
That's
Get to the final four and then I'll take
50.
that. Just yeah, pick their pockets. Probably yeah. Of who are you going for then?
I'm going to go for Nicky just from pure power. But
Yeah,
I
it's gotta be
imagine
Nicky,
stamina-wise, he might slow down.
Yeah.
Well, Robbie,
He says he has trouble with his knees sometimes. Oh yeah, I'm going to go Nicky as well. Surely. All right, that's your two for the weekend. This was one for the weekend. So as we said earlier, we've got a little one for the weekend league, which you can get involved in. We've all predicted our 13 results. Me, you, and Garrett, Annie, and McIntosh for this weekend's games. You can head over to Fan League's Twitter and Facebook page to check out the full list. And if you want to get involved, leave your 13 predictions in the comments below. And if Garrett is just not up to it, or he abdicates the throne, then you could be taking his place.
Yeah, why not?
Final
for joining
thoughts
us.
for the weekend?
Just this, either I'm going to be ecstatic next week or I'm going to be crestfallen and broken. And I've been giving Arsenal fans some jip on Twitter. Been saying some things which probably shouldn't have said. But you live and die by your sword. And if we get beat, I will have to take all of the shit they're going to give me. And, I do that actually willingly because there's strength in that somehow.
I don't have to talk about QBR that often.
Yeah.
And this is possibly a vehicle for it. And I really hope it isn't a vehicle for it next week. Because I just want a point. Just give me a point.
So you're safe.
So we're safe. All right, we'll see you next week.
Cheers.